You ever notice that every time the world gets an upgrade, someone immediately finds a way to weaponize it? That is the real story of modern hacking, not the flashy green terminal windows or whatever neon-dripping cyber poetry your favorite show keeps pushing. The real thing is quieter, meaner, almost boring, more like plumbing than war, or maybe war disguised as plumbing, depends on the day. People think hacking in 2025 is all about breaching banks, breaking into vaults, or outsmarting high-tech security systems, or maybe they imagine pulling off cinematic social engineering ops, tricking people with clever disguises and elaborate schemes. But the reality is very different. It's about navigating a world where everything is connected, and absolutely none of it is built to withstand heat, stress, or constant attack. We live inside a collapsing warren of APIs, cloud containers, half-abandoned SaaS products, and IoT firmware written by someone who was probably underpaid, overworked, and already looking for a new job before the code even shipped. The whole digital world is like one of those city blocks in Transmetropolitan, layers of old tech stacked on top of newer tech, but nobody cleared out the rot in between, so it festers, and it leaks, and somehow people still act surprised when it all breaks. Modern hacking is basically archaeology with a grudge. You dig around in the rubble of someone's shiny app, searching for the older foundations nobody bothered to patch. You scrape back enough layers and suddenly, you find a vulnerable S3 bucket, or a 9-year-old debug endpoint, still carrying production data like a secret shame. These companies write their PR statements about cutting-edge innovation while quietly praying nobody like you ever goes looking in the crawl space. The cynicism comes naturally after a few years. You start to realize that the world's security posture is not actually dictated by threat models or best practices. It is dictated by vibes, whatever the engineering team felt like doing that sprint, whatever the product manager thought would look good in a meeting. There is no grand architecture, just patchwork survival. The futurism part though, that is different. You do not get into hacking unless some part of you is, allergic to the present. Every hacker I know is living 5 minutes ahead of the world. Not enough to be prophetic, just enough to be dangerous. You look at a system, and you see not what it is, but what it could become if someone with worse intentions got there first. That is the real talent, seeing the attack surface before the architect even finishes the blueprint. But let's talk about the modern landscape. Since people keep pretending we are heading towards some polished sci-fi future, we are not. We are barreling toward a grotesque techno-feudalism where the same 3 companies own your data, your memories, your preferences, your identity, and the air you digitally breathe. And the funniest part is, after all this progress, they still cannot secure a simple login page. Every new fix seems to introduce a fresh vulnerability. AI is, honestly, the best example of this ongoing struggle. Everyone's busy worshipping these models like they are modern gods, marveling at their capabilities and potential, and meanwhile, the pipelines behind them are held together with glue, tape, and a whole lot of prayer. We have supply chain attacks quietly slipping into training sets, often going unnoticed until it's too late. We have prompt injection vulnerabilities everywhere, lurking in places you'd never expect. We have model weight leaks just sitting in random public repos, waiting to be found, all because someone forgot to check a folder before pushing to GitHub, leaving sensitive data exposed for anyone to grab. And companies will swear their systems are secure because they added a CAPTCHA and a splashy landing page. This is why hackers exist. Not because we are rebels or whatever movie fantasy people want to project. We exist because someone has to test the structural integrity of this growing digital landfill. Someone has to crawl through the breakpoints and say, hey, this beam is cracked, this endpoint is naked, this entire system is built like a rented storage unit. People like to moralize hacking, to turn it into hero talk or villain talk. Good hackers, bad hackers, makes them feel safer, I guess. But hacking is not a moral axis, it's a perspective, it's a way of seeing the world. You analyze systems by imagining how they will collapse. You look for the one assumption that will eventually betray its creator. And honestly, you start to understand that the cleaner the UI looks on the surface, the more horrors are probably writhing down in the layers below. If anything, the real moral failing belongs to the companies who treat digital infrastructure like fast fashion. Ship it fast, ship it messy, ship it now. Yeah, we can fix the issues in version 2 or 3, or, when someone inevitably leaks the production database on accident. Modern hacking is not a contest of brains, it's actually a contest of attention spans. Whoever is too tired, too distracted, or just too overworked to double-check their own code is, well, probably going to be the next headline. And let's be honest for a moment, most people building software today have no real idea how their own product actually works at scale, or what's really happening under the hood. They're just maintaining an ever-expanding stack of abstractions built by other abstractions, often without understanding the layers beneath. All of it is wrapped in frameworks built on top of even more frameworks. Nobody really writes code from scratch anymore, they just assemble it, piece by piece. They stack it up like mismatched furniture in a squat house, hoping it will all fit together somehow. And honestly, at the end of the day, they just hope gravity is kind enough to keep it all standing. This is why everything leaks eventually, why databases get exposed, why cloud clusters go misconfigured, why every year the breaches get bigger, weirder, and, yeah, more embarrassing. The truth is that society is addicted to complexity it cannot handle, so hackers become the symptom of a deeper illness. We are the fever that reveals the infection. But here is the fun part. The future is not hopeless. It is just stupid. And stupid futures are the easiest to exploit. That is why the next decade of hacking is not going to be about breaking into banks or servers. It will be about breaking assumptions, breaking trust chains, breaking the invisible rules everyone builds their digital life around without ever questioning. So, you will see hackers manipulating AI models through poisoned inputs that, honestly, look totally harmless at first glance. And, you will see data exfiltration happening through channels nobody really considered before, like browser side timing jitter, or even, ambient sensor noise. You will see threat actors using ad networks as covert communication channels, which is, just as sneaky as it sounds. You will see ordinary people accidentally discover vulnerabilities just by clicking around their apps because, well, the seams are getting way too obvious these days. And we will keep playing our role. Not heroes, not villains. Just people who looked at the modern world and said, fine, if nobody's going to maintain the foundation, we might as well map the cracks. If you're watching this wondering how to get into hacking, here is the dirty truth. You do not learn it by studying tutorials, you learn it by getting mad at something, angry at a broken feature, annoyed at a lockdown interface, suspicious of a permission request that makes no sense. That irritation becomes focus, that focus becomes curiosity, then curiosity becomes pattern recognition. That is the pipeline. Not glamorous, but real. Hacking is modern cynicism turned productive. You stop trusting the surface and start digging for the truth underneath. And in a world built out of lies, branding, half-finished products, and digital duct tape, truth is a dangerous thing to chase. But, someone has to do it. Because honestly, the future is coming whether we prepare for it or not. And most people will just consume whatever shiny convenience tech they are handed. Meanwhile, the cracks widen, the seams loosen, the infrastructure buckles under the weight of its own shortcuts. That is where hackers come in, not to stop the collapse, just to understand it better than anyone else, to navigate it like a scavenger navigating a neon-drowned city, to see the digital world for what it really is, a ruin we happen to live in. You do not hack to be a hero, you hack to stay awake. And in a world that keeps putting people to sleep, staying awake is the closest thing left to rebellion.